Destructive play is a Maven focus keystone that was added in 3.22. It causes Maven to spawn additional bosses whilst fighting a boss that you're already attempting to witness. Now, sadly, these bosses themselves do not get witnessed, which kind of eliminates the 10 boss fight Maven encounter is doing. 10 different maps is very, very annoying. However, these bosses do get all the enhanced drop rates to things like influence maps and invitations, so boss rushing is definitely viable. We're going to do it with either Shaper, Elder, or Conqueror invitations, and for today, I'm going to be doing it with the Formed, and we're going to be combining it with Heist to get all those contracts, use the 7th gate, get tons of smugglers caches in our maps, going as fast as possible through these maps. So this is 7 days, 7 farms, day 4. Okay, let's break down the tree that we're using. Today we're focusing on boss rushing. We're going to be killing lots and lots of bosses, so having these additional influence maps dropping is going to be very, very good. We've got the Maven invitation, so the Formed, Elder Slayers, Forgotten, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be trying to drop that. And then Destructive play to get those more bosses in the map, which, yes, cannot be witnessed, but they gain all this benefit from all these points right here. So those additional bosses are going to be brilliant. Now, they do take a minute to spawn, so if you have a build that one-shots these bosses, you're going to have to wait around a second for those additional bosses to spawn. It kind of is what it is. There's not really anything you can do about it if you want to take advantage of Destructive play. Now, to support this, in the past, you would use Wandering Path because of the compass that causes you to drop a guaranteed Shaper map. But they actually nerfed it. You cannot duplicate that map anymore. You only drop one. So you no longer have to do Wandering Path, and this is good because it also limits the price of that compass. It's no longer governed by people doing Wandering Path. So we can do non-Wandering Path and take advantage of other things like Heist. Heist is an incredibly underrated mapping tool. Those smugglers caches, you click them, you make money. It's just how it is. It's like 50,000 rogue markers to 1. You end up getting multiple divines worth of rogue markers in a short amount of time. All deception contracts are 12, 13C each in bulk. Blueprints sell for an absolutely ungodly amount. And then, of course, we have Casting the Joint, where we can get these fully revealed blueprints, which also sell for a good amount. And this all just adds up and adds up and adds up. And you end up getting an absolute boatload of currency. Now, you do have to sell these. You will have to sell them, ideally on TFT, where you can just list them in bulk and sell them. So that is probably my recommendation for selling contracts. If you're not comfortable doing that, this isn't the strategy for you. But if you're comfortable selling contracts, this is an absolute money printer. We actually use the 7th gate as well. In combination with Heist, we can use Heist on the map device. It costs 6 chaos, more than worth it. And then we use Stream of Consciousness, block some mechanics, and through one Trial of Glory. And the reason for this is this point on the tree is actually one of the best bang for buck points you can get. It's ridiculous. You find a trial, you go in, you're guaranteed to make money. And if you find a Gift of the Goddess that is currently worth 2 divines, then you've just made it. You know, from having 4 points on your tree, 2 divines. Yeah, it's not going to happen every map. It just adds up. You're doing these maps so incredibly fast. That might sound like there's a long time in between. But all you're doing in this map is rushing to the boss, clicking the Heist caches, and getting out and doing it again. So it's very, very fast. If I wasn't that fast at it, my build isn't great at killing the bosses. If you're playing a build that runs fast and kills the bosses fast, this is, you're going to print money. So keep an eye on that. And then down here, I didn't take Dutiful Soldier because I don't Heist, so I don't actually have Hook leveled. I don't have any items on him. If you have that, obviously throw this on for sure. And then that's about it for the tree. We did add Delirium, just a nice little thing to add on. It doesn't really add any time to the map. You just run through, all the mobs are going to die depending on your build. And you're going to get some Delirium mobs. So just another nice supplementary thing to the strategy with our additional points. As for the strategy itself, you'll have to forgive me, Maxroll doesn't support the 7th gate feature just yet. This is Heist on the map device. Obviously, we're using whatever Shaper map you need at the time. You're going to do all 4 and then run the Formed. Then we're using a charged compass that causes the area to contain an additional smuggler's cache. These cost like 5C each, so it's like 1.25C per map for an additional smuggler's cache. That's fine by me. And then this compass right here, an additional Shaper Guardian map drops on completing your maps. This means we never have to buy Shaper sets, and Shaper sets are like 45C each if you buy the maps individually or, you know, on TFT in bulk. With the compass, you get this for 25C is what I paid for like 25 of them, and you save 15, 20, 25C per set of map. So I definitely grab this one. Now, you can double check the price. If this goes up to like 5C less than a set of maps, maybe I'd just buy the maps instead, because this 100% more damage, 200% more life does make the maps a little bit longer. If your build doesn't care, then obviously just go ahead and grab this. And then, of course, Maven influence on the map device. As always, this will be linked in the description. If you see any inconsistencies or incorrect things I've done, please let me know. I know a lot of people have been doing that. Don't worry about it. I love it. I make mistakes. I'm human. Yesterday, I took this general node. Someone came, pointed it out. Even though I said I didn't want the generals, I had these 2 nodes taken. Just a mistake by me. You can let me know those things. I do appreciate it.
Make this worth my time? Time to up the stakes! I feel death's pull. Mortal flesh is so fallible. Point the rush.
That stretches the sanity of the mind.
One shall murder the other. Time to up the stakes! Take this vitality boon. Take this.
To a crucible that stretches the sanity of the mind.
Do not leave me unsatisfied. Handle this. Tight tethers. Resist the assault. Grip of the infinite. A battle for the ages, with exotic rewards to it.
Belief is the strongest.
My collection is about to drop tight tethers. Handle this! Take this vitality boon. Temporal death!
That stretches the sanity of the mind.
Grip of the infinite. I'm disabled to challenge unlike any other. At least, die with some flair. Tight tethers. Another challenger. I'm bent to my will. Handle this. Take this vitality boon. Survival.
Now let's get into the loot, and this is going to be quite shocking. So I'll start by saying my build is not particularly fast at this. It took me about 12 minutes per rotor. There are people I know that do this that take maybe 6 to 7 minutes, maybe even less than that sometimes per rotor. So if you can do this much faster, you are going to print because the results are ridiculous. It took us 5 hours to do 25 sets of rotations. I paid for 10 forms, and this is what I got back. You can see tons of influence maps. Obviously, these sell very, very well. Shaper maps, we oversustain by a lot. Elder maps, all these are deception contracts. All these are blueprints that are very easy to sell. Invitations, Shaper sets, Cortexes, Synthesis maps, Deli Orbs from the Delirium. We dropped 1 Divine. Then we dropped 2 Gifts. We dropped 2 Dedications. We got 13 Maven's Writs. Didn't do too well on the Awakened Gems. We only got 4 on 25 rotations. You'll have you guys have to let me know if you've done this, what the kind of expected returns are on this kind of thing. We got on Awakened Unbound Ailments was our best one. And then we got 5 fully revealed blueprints. And then we have obviously all this remainder. It may not look like a lot, But as I said, this took 5 hours. It wasn't too long. There's a lot of money here. And we'll go quickly into the spreadsheet and we can go over some things with the PoE stack. So here we are. I got an estimated profit per hour of 7.08. I never want to harp too much on about the profit per hour because there are going to be builds that go faster or slower. Arguably, if you do this, you want to go faster, which will mean this number obviously goes up. If you can get this down to even, let's say, 1.5 minutes per map at 11. It gets silly, doesn't it? It gets quite silly if you can go fast, and there are plenty of builds that can do this. I know people playing Stormbrand that do this absolutely insanely fast. So the PoE stack came out to 45 divines. This is filtered for stack size of 10 or above. I've also removed the deception contracts as this value is incorrect. I've also subtracted the other contracts from this, and this is what we end up with. So 45 divines worth of value. Now, in terms of investment, I only bought 10 forms to start with, and I oversustained outside of that. As you can see from the loot, we actually got in excess. We got 3 excess, so we ended up dropping 18 from the 10 that we invested. So that's why that's written down as 10 and not 25. The compasses are extremely cheap. I would definitely recommend jumping onto this if you can, and you have a build that can do it. Smuggler's Cash, the Heist mod on the map device, 6 each. The investment was extremely low, 20C per map, and with guaranteed returns. This isn't like something where you're gambling all. This is guaranteed. Even with the Maven's Ritz alone, we got more than we actually invested. We got 13 divines from the Maven's Ritz, and we only invested about 8.5. So this is ridiculous. How fast can you go? That is the question. How fast can you go? If you can, and if the answer is faster than me, go and print some money. Obviously, the contracts, I will update this. I'll probably leave a pinned comment. I'm going to see how well the contracts and blueprints sell. Maybe I'll amend this a little bit because I've never really tried selling the contracts. I do hear deceptions are really easy to sell. But as for the others, maybe I can, you know, alter this a little bit. But I mean, -3 in the grand scheme of things isn't going to make that big of a difference. But I will let you guys know how I get on with that. And this was the money printer. This was the Heist, Destructive Play, Boss Rushing Money Printer. Jump on this. Obviously, double check the prices before you do, because if this becomes popular, I imagine the returns will diminish slightly, but there's a long way for this to go before it becomes unusable. I'll see you tomorrow.